如果被拒签了4次，你还会继续申请吗？那我们今天请到了一个印度的留学生在加拿大，我们来听一下他的加拿大留学移民的故事。
Hi, Raghav.
Thanks for having me.
And can you do a brief introduction about yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Raghav. I'm from southern side of India, from the state called Tamil Nadu.
Yes.
And I just came to Canada last August 2022. And I'm here a student at Sioux College.
Okay. And which part of India you are from?
I'm from a state called Tamil Nadu, so it's in the bottommost state. And it's usually really hot in the southern side of India, and the place where I come from, it's hot.
Okay.
Yep.
And is a big difference between North India and South India, is it?
Yes, there's actually a lot of differences, even though, we're all from the same country.
Yeah.
There's difference in culture, language, food, the weather conditions, everything is different. So it's like a different country altogether when you travel up north.
What is the biggest city in the south?
The biggest city, there's 4 different states that comes under South India.
Okay.
So it's called Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, or also they've split into 2 called Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, and there's another one called Kerala.
Okay. Is there any Chinese over there?
No. I've never seen one, not yet.
There's no Chinese opening, doing small business there?
I've never seen a Chinese in South India, but there are Chinese in the North India.
In North?
In North,
Okay.
yes, there are, yep.
When did you come to Canada?
I came last August, end of last August 2022. And it was only 10 days until my college started, so yeah.
So, did you apply your study permit by yourself or by an agent?
Yeah, I applied it through my agent. So it was all done through my agent, not just my study permit, but from the beginning, from my admission, from my college admission. So once I got the admission, and the same agency, they have different departments, like admission department.
Yes.
So once you finish your admission process, they move you to the visa department.
Okay.
So the visa department takes care of all your visa process, your study permit and everything.
Okay.
So they helped me throughout, from getting my admission to coming to Canada.
Have you think about doing it by yourself?
I thought about doing it by myself, but when I tried to do it, I just felt it was more complicating.
Yeah.
Because there's just a lot of process involved doing it. And of course, there's a lot of money involved doing it as well. So I didn't want to do anything wrong, and I didn't want to risk it.
Yeah,
so I went through an agency. So, they've been doing it for years.
They're more professional.
They're professional. That's their job. So I felt it was comfortable for me to do it through them, just to get that confidence.
How many times you apply for the study permit of Canada?
So I got my visa rejected for the first time when I applied it. And then I immediately reapplied again. And I got it.
So what you changed for a document?
So in order to come to Canada, we had to write this SOP. SOP is called Statement of Purpose.
Yeah.
It's basically a letter that you write to the visa officer.
Like a study plan or something.
Exactly. It's about you. You just write why you're coming to Canada. What is your reason for coming to Canada? What you didn't have back in India that you have in Canada.
So you write it by yourself, or your agent write it?
Yes, I write it by myself, because you have to talk about yourself. So some people still write it from from professional writers, just to get an idea. But I would definitely suggest you have to write your own SOP, because that's what matters the most.
Yes.
And you know more about yourself than others.
Yes.
So, but you have to make sure that everything about you is written in detail, because there is no interview process for, the visa process in Canada. So the visa officer is going to learn everything about you through this one letter. So you have to give detailed information as much as you can to convince the visa officer to give you approval.
So just want to confirm that you didn't change anything, or you only changed the study plan?
Yes, because all the other documents that we provided were okay. There was no problem with the documents.
Yeah.
Because so when I first applied, right, I got rejection, and I got the reason behind my rejection.
What is the reason?
So the reason they said was they are not convinced that I will go back to India,
Okay.
right? And my temporary stay was not consistent for them.
Yeah.
So basically, what you can understand from that is that your statement of purpose, the letter, was not up to the mark. So I had to write even more detailed, a stronger letter to them, giving them justification for my first rejection and giving them justification for the reasons that they said. So yeah, I made sure that I wrote a very detailed letter, and luckily I got my approval.
So you just changed the SOP. That's it.
Just the SOP.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long you get your study permit? Do you remember? From your application, then till you received it.
So how long did it take for me to get?
Yeah.
You're asking? Okay, that's a very interesting question. So the very first time I applied,
Yes.
it took me 3 months to get the rejection,
Yes.
mail,
Uh-huh.
and I reapplied again after 3 days from that day.
Yeah.
Okay, and I reapplied and I got my approval in 5 days.
Okay. The second one only takes 5 days.
Just it took 5 days, but I'm not saying that happens for everyone. I was just lucky.
Yeah.
Some people get approvals in 24 hours. I've seen.
24. Wow.
Yeah, and some people, it's taken a year. But I think this issue is only in India because, as you know by now, there's a lot of Indians here in Canada.
Are you applying for SDS or you're just normal application?
Yeah, so the first time I applied was through SDS, Student Direct Stream, and it took 3 months. So, and the second time I applied was through non-SDS.
The normal one.
Yes.
Okay.
And during my time, when I was applying back then, people were getting faster results through the normal one.
Well, the same thing in China. I mean, yeah, people applying with SDS even get slower. So they changed to the another way with the
normal
path.
one. Yep.
It's getting faster.
Yeah, but they say SDS is the fastest one, right?
Yeah. So it's
So I
kind
think
of,
it's because
funny.
like, since they say SDS is the fastest method, everyone are applying through SDS, making it slow,
Yes.
right? And the normal one isn't used much, so that was being fast. So I was lucky enough to be in that moment of time where I quickly transitioned through the non-SDS, the regular one, and then I got my.
So you quickly decided the game.
Yes,
How to
I
play
was
with
not
it.
going to waste any time.
Yeah.
I made sure that I'm not going to get a deferment.
Yeah.
I was pushing myself hard. I never gave up.
This
And
is a smart decision.
yeah, I mean, luck played as well, right? Because you
Yeah.
do everything from your end, but it's up to the visa officer to decide
Yes.
if you're worthy or not to come to Canada. But here we are.
How much you paid for your agents?
I never paid anything for my agent.
Wow.
And it's a very surprising question. It's surprising for a lot of people to know that. So the thing is,
Yes.
they straight away tell you in the very beginning that we are not going to charge any money, and we'll do it everything by ourselves to you.
Is it IDP or is it?
No, it was a private agent.
Immigration agent.
Yes, it was a private agent,
what-
and they've been there for like more than 6-7 years, sending a lot of students here to Canada.
So why they don't charge any money from you?
So
They probably get permission, commission from the college as well.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
And the other question is that among your friends or classmates in India, and how many times they applied for their study permit and then they get the permit? Normally, like
Yeah, so there has been people who applied just for one shot and they've been here, and they've also been people who've took more than 3-4 times.
more than 3.
Yeah, I can give you an example. So, 2 of my friends
Yes.
from my state, Tamil Nadu, just came to Canada now for the May intake.
Okay.
But they were supposed to be our classmates,
Okay.
right? So, you know already. So, they
Yeah.
had 4 attempts and they got rejected 4 times.
Reject 4 times and they get approved.
Yes,
the
they-
5th time.
Yes, and they got approved for the 5th time.
Wow.
So they never gave up, right? So
Wow,
that's a
yeah.
really good thing. Because, yeah, like not everyone are the same. Some people might go through some hardships. Some people might just get it in the first time. But ultimately, your dream should never be a dream. It should come to reality.
Yes.
So those two guys made it happen. So they were supposed to be our classmates, but after a whole year, they made it to Canada right now. I just met them a couple of days back. They're going to start their program soon.
Yeah. Is it normal to be rejected twice? Is it normal?
Yes, it is normal because, depends on how strong your profile is, right?
Yeah.
If, usually the first time when you apply, you're not 100% sure how strong your profile is.
Yeah.
So most of the scenarios like that, they get rejected. For example, me, right?
Yes.
So the very first time I wrote my statement of purpose, I thought it was strong, but it wasn't strong enough. So I got rejected. So then through that rejection and through the reason, I got to know which part of my SOP should be improved. So I worked on it. I made sure I even wrote a stronger letter this time, and I sent it and it worked. So it's normal to get rejected more than once.
Okay.
There's no problem. Yeah, I mean, there are people here who give up as well. But, what I would personally say is just life in general, nothing happens in the first time, right? Mm-hmm. You have to keep trying. And if you badly want it,
yes,
you're going to have to get it, even if it takes 2 times or 3 times, right? Because you have a dream, you have to pursue that.
Yeah.
So it definitely gets hard once you get rejected. I know how that feels. I've been there.
Yeah.
It hurts. It feels like nothing's going to happen for you. Mm-hmm. But it's okay. You're not alone.
Yep. And I want to know that how long you want to study in Canada, for 1 program or 2 programs?
Yeah, I'm gonna, the overall is 2 programs. So right now I'm finishing my first program here at Sioux College, and then I'm gonna pursue another program. And I'm moving to Kitchener in 4 months, Kitchener, Ontario, for my second program at a different college.
Okay. And do you have a girlfriend back in India as well?
I have a girlfriend, and she's also here in Canada. So
for study?
Yes, she's studying here. We decided this together.
Yeah.
While we were in India, we just thought, let's do this together. Let's help each other out.
Yeah.
And then we both took our IELTS exam. We both did all the processes, everything together. I helped her as much as I can. She helped me as much as she can. And I came in last September. She came 4 months later, last December.
Yes.
My girlfriend's a student here as well, and she's in Kitchener.
Okay, cool. And I mean, when you come to study or decided to study in Canada, how do you deal with your financial problem? Do you have savings or do you support it by your parents?
Actually, both, because before I came to Canada, I have 5 years of work experience.
Yeah.
And through that 5 years, I saved up as much as money I can.
Yeah.
And
is it enough for your study for 2 programs?
No, it's not.
Yeah.
So for the first program, yes, I was able to gather money from my previous work experiences. And my parents support me to some extent,
for
right?
The second one or first,
yeah, for the first one, right? So it's enough for my first program right now, which I'm finishing.
Yes.
But for the second program, I have to make money by myself by working here in Canada. Mm-hmm. So it's better to do part-time jobs, right? Right now, Canada has given the leverage of working more hours.
Yes, it's more than 30 hours.
Yeah, you can do as much as you can. Yeah. So it's better to utilize that. Do 2 jobs, 40 hours, 80 hours. You can make it. It's definitely going to be stressful. It's not an easy thing to do, but there's always a reward in the end, right? So you make as much as money as you can, spend as little money as you can.
Yeah.
That way you can save more money.
Yeah.
And
have you think about just do 1 program?
I have thought about that by just doing 1 program. But, if your goal is to get PR, right, the safest route is to study 2 programs. Yeah. The reason why is because if you study for 1 year and then you apply for work permit, you only get 1 year of work permit. Most 90%, 95%, you're only going to get 1 year of work permit. If that happens, then it's going to be hard for you to get PR because
kind of risky.
It's very risky,
Yeah.
right? You might just work for 1 year and they might ask you to go back to your country, which you don't want if you want to stay here. But if you study 2 years, you get 3 years of work permit,
Yeah.
which is more than enough for you to work 1 year and then apply for your PR and get the results within those 3 years.
Right.
So that's the safest route. I've seen people take risks, and very few lucky ones have got the PR by studying 1 year programs. I'm not going to say that there's no possible way at all. Yes, there is possibilities, but the chances are thin and the risk is a lot.
You put less money, you have higher risk.
Exactly.
And apart from that, do you have like a degree or diploma back in India?
Yeah, so I have my bachelor's degree in media, visual communications.
Yes.
So it was all about film studies, editing, and mass communications as well. So completely different from what I'm studying right now. I took a huge transition in my career life, which I'll talk about it.
Oh yeah. What about the tuition for your study in bachelor degree for 3 years? How much in Canadian?
So to roughly calculate in Canadian dollars, so if I have to convert that in Canadian, it's around $5,000
Okay, cool.
for 3-year program.
After you graduated, and how much you get monthly?
So monthly in Canadian dollars, I was getting around 600, close to $600.
So that is high. I mean, in India.
I got 600 in my last job because I was promoted and that was 600.
Supervisor.
So so getting 600 is not common. You have to upskill your levels to go to 600.
Yeah.
But
have you think about applying a job in the government in India?
yes, because personally, my mother works for the government of India as well. And she wanted me to do that. But for some reason, I didn't want to do that because there's a lot of restrictions that you have to go through if you have to be a government employee. And I personally wasn't that much interested to work for the government. And so
Is it difficult?
it's not difficult. To be honest, there's the pension and everything is pretty great if you work for the government.
Yes.
You have a lot of benefits and perks. But at the same time, there are certain downfalls, like you can't travel outside of the country because since you work for the government.
You cannot travel outside
Yeah,
India?
I mean, you can travel, but what I say is
Restrictions have.
there are a few restrictions, right? Because you are working for the government of India. You can definitely go outside as a tourist.
Oh. Do you have any relatives in Canada or in the United States or?
I don't have any relatives here in Canada, but I have my elder sister living in the US. My elder sister, my brother-in-law, and I have a nephew and a niece. They're all living in the US.
During your study in Canada, you're doing a part-time job, and how much average you make weekly?
The minimum wage is right now it's $15.50. So that's the minimum wage which you mostly get wherever you go for part-time, right?
Yes.
So let's say that since you're doing part-time, usually the government lets you do 20 hours a week. So you can work for 20 hours and every hour you get $15.50. Right now, the government has removed that timing so you can work as much as you can. So on a weekly, I get around $300 to $350 in a week.
300 is quite a lot. Do you have a lot of free time? I mean, you have a lot of homework, like assignments, or no?
Yes, there's a lot of homeworks, a lot of assignments, a lot of study, research, projects. It's a lot. And at the same time, there's a lot to work as well. I don't have weekends. I'm occupied all 7 days, right? Because you have colleges on the week and weekends are the perfect time to work.
Yes.
So, and weekdays as well, right? So you're always doing something or the other every single day. I'm trying not to scare anyone by telling all this that you won't get free time and stuff. But that's the reality here in Canada. If you have to, gain money and do things, you have to work hard.
Yeah.
And this is the only way that you can make money for yourself.
Life is not easy.
Life is not easy. You work hard for some time, right? I'm not saying this is the life that you're going to have here.
Yes.
You're definitely going to have a better life. But in order to get that better life, you have to work hard for just 2 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're young, we can fight.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you're not alone, right? So there's a lot of people that are doing the same things that you are going to do. So there's always someone who's going to understand what you're going through.
Yes.
So everyone's on the same page. You're not alone.
Okay, so for the last question, I want to know that for the last question,
I would just simply ask you to never give up, because for most people it's not that easy to come here. You have to go through a lot of documentation, especially the challenging part for us non-English speakers, right, including me and you. We have to write the IELTS exam, which is English proficiency. So don't give up. Don't feel bad that you're not able to do it that hard. You can always try again. And because once you come here, there are going to be some emotional challenges like missing your family and going through stress with work, college. But one thing that I would tell you is you're not alone, because the people who came before you have done the same thing like you, and the people who are going to come after you are also going to do the same thing. All of us are going through the same thing here. You will never feel alone. There are always people here to help you out. Canadians are really nice. They will always try to help you. They've helped me personally a lot. So it's okay to ask for help. And everyone understands that we are all immigrants and we are trying to make a better life for ourselves. Eventually you will get through it, because it's only a phase of life. You've already set your path. Once you cross it, you're good to go.
don't give up even if you refuse to try.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. Thanks, Belle.